way they're chomping people these days. You can't be too ready. Cocked and locked and ready to rock. Bear attacks take 2 seconds, so 1 second to take the safety off and 1 second to shoot. We might live.
That's the big guy. He's been trying to keep that satellite bull away. Well, we got a really smoky morning. And we did find some elk, and there's some bulls around. Some are rutting, some are just feeding like summer elk. We gotta pull up here. Behind us, bull down here chuckling. Did you hear him? There's several bulls down below us, but we're just gonna kind of stage and see where things bed because they're moving around so much. We're not gonna go get in there yet. So we're on a good vantage. We're gonna watch this bull, make sure he doesn't come down. If he does, we can cut him off, and if not, he just bugled. He's really searching. He's like. Hear this one behind me. Chuckler. It's going on September 16th. Did you hear that one? We're not going to get in a rush, but we're just going to be ready to strike when the opportunity presents itself.
We get up to the mountain first thing in the morning, and there had been some guys that beat us up there. So we just waited on a knob, and we were just gonna soak it all in, just see what we had going, see what there were for bulls, see what there were for cows. So all the elk that were down below me kind of were doing their thing, rutting. There was a lot of elk down there. The problem is that they're right on the edge of private, and most of those elk ended up down over the edge on private and not having a play to do anything.
That right there, too. Bear tracks everywhere in here. Grizzlies. A lot of bears, but a lot of elk, so. Cocked and locked now. Don't want to be in the brush right now. We're going to stay in the open. There are some trails where we can get around here. But we have this bull behind me we're going to go after. The other bull on the hill, which I would have loved to gone after. There's some other guys on him, but we'll see if we can't get on this big guy, this herd bull over here. This many elk around, you don't know what's just gonna wander in because there's so many bulls around.
So I got down on the point and ripped out a location bugle, and sure enough, got a couple responses. And after some back and forth for probably 5-10 minutes of watching, and what ended up being 30 minutes or so, I had a big bull coming in from the north, and I had a big bull coming down the valley from the east. Now, the big bull from the north, old bull, heavy, nice 6-point frame, but was missing his thirds, which was kind of weird. But he was what I referred to as the dragon bull. He had this really cool bugle, and he chuckled, and that volume, that bugle really carried. Bull to my east was just a nice 6, not a smaller 6. I say smaller 6, but he was a nice solid 6 point. Both were shooters. Once again, public land. Out west, you have to be, real with your expectations. Obviously, I want to kill a big bull. I always love the challenge of killing a big bull and something that scores good. That's just where I'm at in my elk journey. And that's what my goals are. My personal goals are is to kill the biggest one that I possibly can, and hopefully maybe even beat the size of the bull I killed last year.
$860 yardage.
No, it's 915. What are you talking?
Wow, what a dragon.
As these two bulls kind of display what attitude they have, what mood they're in, I kind of altered my calling sequence and matched them accordingly. They weren't that fired up, but obviously they were coming from a long distance away to check out what I had going on. And so these bulls are searching their location bugles with some chuckles. They want to be around cows, but they're not like uber aggressive. They're not bull calling cows bugle aggressive, really piping off. So I kind of matched that with location bugles. I didn't want to intimidate them, but I wanted to let them know that, hey, I'm a bull, I have cows. And so you'll see me throw in some lost calf calls, some lost cow calls, that higher pitch type calls. I always try to stay away from just a cow mew. You'll see these bulls chuckle. I never chuckle. I never want to try to intimidate them in that regard. As these bulls come to me, I'm looking around. I don't have any cover, so I need to get off my vantage point. I need to get off basically my calling point where I'm displaying these calls across these valleys. And I move down, and I get down. I see this knob in front of me, and I want to get down to this knob and have a place where I have some topography to work with, and I can also get away from where I was calling from so those bulls don't get suspicious of there not being elk there. So as both bulls got behind the ridge or got down in some cover in the draws as they were coming, I bolted down across there and I staged on the back side of the knob.
He's coming right down the ridge.
And I didn't want to expose myself and get all the way over because once again, if an elk can see where you're calling from, the gig's up. So I stay on the backside. The bull from the north, the dragon bugle, he was pretty non-confrontational. You could tell by his demeanor. And there are cows in the area, but we have enough satellites running around where it makes it easy than it would be like in a normal, maybe a OTC unit or any other hunt or area that has a little less elk density. We had that on our side just because there's enough solo bulls around. And solo bulls, they're so easy to call in, especially during the rut when they're searching like that.
He's up
So as I stage, I'm feeling out what they're doing. The bull from the east, he kind of hangs up in that aspen patch and he ends up rubbing, he's displaying his dominance, which is great. That's what I want him to do. But this was like a 2-hour process. And I would respond back and I would make sure, you know, after 30 or 45 minutes, I would throw a location bugle out there and just kind of point it back away from me and down the hill. So I was over the hill from him and he would pipe off. I didn't want him to go cold. And by this time it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And so these bulls are probably thinking about going to bed too. They want to get out of that wide open. So they're probably wondering what I'm doing on that knob out there. But the big bull from the north with no thirds, he ended up just kind of skirting us and he didn't want confrontation. I wasn't speaking what he liked. He wasn't that fired up. So he headed up into the aspens. But the other 6 point, the slick 6, he's a little more fired up than this older bull and he sticks around. And finally, after 2 hours of just kind of bantering back, lost calf calls, location bugles, nothing too crazy, he decides to come in.
He's right down over this hill right here. He's coming this way.
Is I have this ridge in front of me. He's coming to my south and I have that whole knob in front of me for cover. So I let him get behind the hill and I don't want him to be out of sight for too long because if he's out of sight for too long, then who knows where he's gonna come up. I don't wanna be surprised by him popping up to the left or popping up over here. So as he comes and he gets behind the hill, I wanna stay on him. So I'm working my way up, and I want to keep eyes on him, or if not, like just be able to see his antler tips so I can see what direction he's traveling and how he's moving, so I have the upper hand on him.
Do you have him? Stand up. Wait. Stand up. Got him. Get him. It's no slouch of a bull though. 38 yards. Is that right? I smell them. Man, it's gotta be here somewhere if we could find blood. Hey, find it. Dang! It's just laying in the bush. It's laying perfectly in the bush. It must have fell out. I hit a rib, see that? That's why it didn't zing right through him. I smoked a rib. We're in for it, Jojo. Wow. What a big bodied bull. He looks smaller on the hoof than what he actually is. Because he's so big, his body's huge. Wow. Thanks, buddy. What a beast. What a beast. I love this so much. Good. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Wait. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
20 more yards.
1, 2, 3. All right, let's look.
Yeah, we're just. No, yeah, that's a good idea.
Straight through there. What a beaut. I couldn't be any happier. I think what I'm gonna do is, look at that, he's all dusted up. I'm gonna take the cape from this bull and mount my bull from last year with this cape. Last year my bull was way in the backcountry and I did not have the space to bring the cape out, and I want to mount my bull from last year, and man, I couldn't ask for a better cape. It's still early season, but he has those long guard hairs and he's getting nice and blonde. He's just beautiful. So this is going to be fantastic. It'll be a great way for me to remember my bull from last year while having my bull from this year cape on him. So kind of special, kind of fun, and we'll make a great pedestal mount out of him, I think. So, well, I would tell you we have a long ass pack out, but we don't. It's probably a half a mile, and so that's another reason to shoot a bull. Is you're close to the road, because where we're hunting, it could be up to 5 miles, which is fine too. But we're fairly close to the truck. We're still going to have to quarter them up and bone them out and pack them out, and hopefully we can wiggle around these grizzly bears. Man, there's a lot of sign in here, choke cherries in here, and the bears are here. So we're going to be keeping our eyes over our shoulders, looking around. And I'm sure there'll be a grizzly bear on this carcass tonight. I wouldn't doubt it. But I don't want to make too much noise in here because public guys are in here. There's some elk in here, so it should be good hunting for the rest of the season. There's about 10 days left, so what a beautiful 6-point.
Can I take it out of the holster?
Yeah. Remember though, there's one in the chamber. Is it locked? Is it still?
Hammer's back. This is.
What about the lock? Let's see. Slide lock. There you go. See how it's locked?
So.
Unlocked. Shoot. Cocked and locked.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm gonna put this right here.
Okay. This razor bone, it has replaceable blades. You can get the fillet blade, normal blade, and they got this little zipper blade.
It works good through the thin skin, but just cutting a nice clean cape line, I really prefer it. Not necessary, but it's handy to have. Finish that. Just a little tip I like to do when I leave evidence of sex. Some states require it for some tags. If it's in either sex tags, if it's in either sex tag, I think some states don't require it, but every state's different, and I honestly don't know all the rules on all the differences, so I just always leave evidence of sex. It's too hard to keep track of, so you're just better off just to leave it. So what I do is I just get down here and I just leave a chunk of the penis on there. I don't want the balls, I don't want any hair, nothing on my meat. That's gonna taint your meat. It's gonna make it dirty. You don't want any hair. So all you do is take his wiener, cut it in half on the front end, skin it down, and then you'll cut it on the back end. And so you basically just leave a piece like this long naturally attached to the quarter. It's the cleanest, lightest, most efficient way of leaving evidence of sex. Oh, all right. Well, it actually feels good. There's literally a grizzly track, and any free dirt bear attacks take 2 seconds. So if it takes me 1 second to take the safety off and 1 second to shoot, we might live. So
That's
2 more loads.
That's comforting.
Yeah, we'll be good. I did say he wasn't too far from the road, but it ain't an easy distance. It's up and up. See how that works though?
Yeah.
When it rocks with this F1 mainframe, it just, you gotta have movement, otherwise you just feel so out of balance. It's just like balanced like this. You can move it around brush. It gives when you go past brush, but it doesn't sag, it doesn't go anywhere.